Intro hook. Imagine standing at the precipice of your child's future, holding a single, shimmering wish in your hands. What would it be? Success? Unwavering happiness? A life of profound peace and purpose? Most of us, as parents, would instinctively choose all of these, picturing our children thriving, contributing, and living lives far richer than our own. We dream of them achieving greatness, not just in their careers, but in their very being. But here's the unsettling question that often goes unasked. Are the very methods we're employing to secure this brilliant future actually leading them down a different, less fulfilling path? What if our deepest desires for their success are inadvertently being undermined by the way we teach them to learn, to think, and to feel? What if the relentless pursuit of academic perfection, driven by memorization and regurgitation, is subtly stripping away their most vital human capacities? The capacity to truly innovate, to solve real-world problems, to connect deeply with others, and even to understand their own hearts? This isn't just about grades, it's about the very architecture of their souls, the foundation of their future resilience and joy. If you're a parent, or even just someone who cares deeply about nurturing the next generation into capable, compassionate, and truly happy individuals, then you've landed in the right place. This conversation is crucial, and it's time we re-examined the bedrock of our children's education. Don't miss out on these insights that could redefine your approach to parenting and unlock your child's authentic potential. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now, and join our growing community dedicated to raising extraordinary humans. Now, I want you to think for a moment. When you envision your child's education, which of these two priorities weighs more heavily in your mind? A. Primarily achieving top grades and mastering vast amounts of information, or B. Primarily developing critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and genuine life skills, even if it means a different academic path? Take a moment to reflect, and then share your answer, A or B, in the comments section below. Your honest thoughts are invaluable to this discussion. End intro. 1. Introduction to parental aspirations and the problem with rote learning ***. We all stand united in our fervent hopes for our children. We wish for them not just to get by, but to truly flourish, to be successful in their chosen endeavors, to experience profound happiness, to navigate life with inner peace, and to contribute something meaningful to the world around them. These aren't just hopes, they are the bedrock of our parenting aspirations, the silent prayers we offer for their future. And naturally, in our quest to fulfill these aspirations, our gaze often turns immediately to education. We believe, and rightly so, that a strong education is the key that unlocks these doors. The conventional wisdom, for generations, has been clear: teach them to excel academically. Push them to learn more, remember more, achieve outstanding results, and a bright future will inevitably follow. On the surface, this makes perfect sense. A child who masters their subjects, earns high marks, and gains admission to prestigious institutions seems primed for success. And let me be absolutely clear, fostering academic excellence is, without a doubt, a commendable and vital endeavor. We want our children to be knowledgeable, to understand complex concepts, and to develop intellectual rigor. However, a subtle yet profound danger emerges when this pursuit of academic achievement becomes singularly focused on one specific method: rote learning. Rote learning, the act of memorizing information primarily through repetition, without necessarily understanding its underlying meaning or context, has long been a staple of educational systems worldwide. From reciting multiplication tables to memorizing historical dates, chemical formulas, or literary passages, it's a familiar tool. The concern arises not from its existence, but from its dominance. When it becomes the primary mode of learning, when we prioritize the sheer volume of memorized facts over the depth of comprehension or the development of broader cognitive and emotional skills, we inadvertently create a significant disconnect. This disconnect is the core dilemma we face today. We want our children to be innovators, problem solvers, empathetic leaders, and resilient individuals capable of adapting to an ever-changing world. Yet, If our educational approach leans too heavily on simply internalizing pre-existing knowledge without encouraging independent thought or real-world application, we risk cultivating a generation while perhaps brilliant at recalling facts, may struggle profoundly when confronted with the messy, unpredictable, and deeply human challenges of actual life. This isn't just a theoretical concern, it's a practical, everyday challenge that many young people are already encountering. They might ace a test on economic theories but feel utterly lost when managing their first budget. They might recite profound philosophical quotes but struggle to navigate a difficult conversation with a friend. The gap between knowing and doing, between information and wisdom, becomes a chasm. 2. Defining rote learning and its detrimental effects ***. So, what exactly is rote learning, and why is an over-reliance on it potentially so detrimental to our children's holistic development? At its heart, rote learning is the act of committing information to memory through repetition, often without truly grasping the deeper meaning, the underlying principles, or the practical implications of that information. It's about remembering what to say, but not necessarily understanding why it's true, or how it applies beyond the specific context in which it was learned. Let's illustrate this with some everyday examples. Consider the classic scenario of a child memorizing the multiplication table. They might be able to rattle off 7 times 8 is 56 with lightning speed and perfect accuracy. But if you then present them with a real-world problem, like you have 7 bags, and each bag contains 8 apples. How many apples do you have in total? They might hesitate, or even struggle, because their memorization wasn't intrinsically linked to the concept of grouping or quantity. They learned the answer, but not the underlying mathematical relationship or its practical application. The knowledge exists in a silo, detached from utility. Another powerful example comes from the realm of values and ethics. We might teach our children to memorize profound moral sayings, like treat others as you wish to be treated, or honesty is the best policy. They can articulate these principles beautifully. But if they haven't been given opportunities to experience the impact of these principles, to feel the consequences of their actions, or to understand the empathy required to truly live by them, then these words remain empty vessels. When faced with a real-life situation, say, witnessing a friend being bullied, or being tempted to cheat on a test, they might find themselves utterly paralyzed, unable to apply the very maxims they so diligently memorized. The emotional and cognitive pathways needed for ethical decision-making were never truly forged. The consequences of this over-reliance on rote learning are far-reaching and deeply concerning for a child's comprehensive development. Firstly, it stifles critical thinking and creativity. When children are primarily trained to absorb and reproduce information, they are rarely challenged to question, analyze, synthesize, or innovate. Their minds become like sophisticated recording devices, excellent at playback, but incapable of composing original melodies. They struggle to form their own opinions, to challenge assumptions, or to devise novel solutions when faced with unfamiliar problems. The spark of genuine curiosity, which is the engine of true learning, can dim, replaced by a passive acceptance of presented facts. They become proficient at what, but weak at why and what if. Secondly, it cripples problem-solving skills. Life is not a multiple-choice test with predefined answers. It's a continuous stream of novel challenges, unexpected obstacles, and complex dilemmas. A child accustomed to being spoon-fed solutions will lack the internal toolkit to dissect a problem, brainstorm potential approaches, evaluate their feasibility, and implement a solution. They become dependent on external authority for answers, rather than developing their own inner resourcefulness. When the right answer isn't immediately apparent, they feel overwhelmed, frustrated, and inadequate. Thirdly, it hinders emotional intelligence. Rote learning focuses on cognitive recall, largely ignoring the vast landscape of human emotions. Children who are not encouraged to explore and understand their own feelings, or to empathize with the feelings of others, will struggle profoundly in their relationships and personal well-being. They may be able to label an emotion from a textbook, but they won't recognize it in themselves or others, nor will they know how to navigate its complexities.